Oh, okay. So I've tried making this video like 12 times and my computer keeps fucking dying. So maybe that's like a sign that I should fucking stop because this is just a lot. And maybe it's like just stop giving a shit is what YouTube's trying to tell me. But look, I want to fucking make this video. This is a drama channel, I guess. I don't know. Like, I know all I really talk about is Trisha Paytas and Ethan Klein and Gabby. Like, I mean, they're just interesting to me. So that's what I'm going to talk about. Yes, I have saggy granny tits. I look like a meth head. I'm not. I get over it. Let's talk tea. Let's talk tea. Like, okay. So anyways, so for those of you who are not privy to all the dirty details of what's going on in YouTube drama land, so as we know, or if you don't, I'm about to tell you, Trisha Paytas has kind of been trying to keep her relevancy going after quitting Frenemies, which was probably the one thing about her actual YouTube career that was something worth noting. So yeah, she's obviously desperate and pretty much, okay, let me gather my thoughts. She made a video today reacting to how people are treating her ever since, you know, we found out she went on Keemstar's podcast. After making a video about how gross it is that he's having sex with a 20-year-old and how he's a rape apologist and that he's a shitty person. She made that video reacting to him. And then Ethan made a fucking video about her reacting to Keemstar, and then he started shitting on Keemstar too because they're enemies. And if anything, the video made Ethan look like he kind of liked Trisha. He was kind of like, you know, extending her voice about Keemstar. And of course, Keemstar's a little fucking bitch and somehow got YouTube to ban Ethan for a week from making videos because he was memeing and goofing on Keemstar's gross, I'm going to say pedophilic relationship. People are going to be, it's not a pedophile. 20 is a consenting adult. Like, she's not a child. This is really slanderous to, like, actual victims of... Shut up, dude. Like, okay, first of all, 20 is basically, like, a teenager. Like, I'm sorry, but 20 is really, like... It's not even legally... Like, you can't even drink in the U.S. when you're 21. Sorry, you can't drink in the U.S. when you're 20. You have to be 21. Like, I know in other countries, it's like the age is lower. And in some countries, the age of consent is fucking 14. So the law doesn't even fucking matter if that's how you want to look at it. Like, it's fucking gross. Like, it is. Like, no cool, rational, intellectual, chill, not creepy person is going to see that age gap relationship. Whether it's a guy and a girl or a man and, like, even if the woman was 40 and the dude was 20, that age gap is so, like, gross. It's too much. It's too much. Like, if someone was born when you were already, like, in college, not that Keemstar probably went to college. I don't know. Maybe he did. I don't know. But, like, that's a gross age gap. Like, I'm not going to get into that. That's an opinion. Because it's legal, there's really nothing else to do about it but have an opinion. And Trisha Paytas called it out. And obviously, I saw that video and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I don't like her. I think she's a piece of shit. But it's cool that she's at least still talking about gross people and talking shit about them and being no holds barred. But then she fucking goes and ruins that by going on his fucking podcast right after he copy struck Ethan, who we all know her history with Ethan. And so, yeah, it seemed really shady. Of course, it wasn't about, like, yeah, she made the video reacting to Keemstar without Ethan. He did involve himself, and maybe that he shouldn't be doing that. Maybe he needs to just really stop with Trisha Paytas. Like, whatever lingering residual feelings of, like, family love he had for her, like, she's not your friend. Ethan, like, Trisha isn't his family. That's the thing. It's like not because she's not blood related or because she's not, but she's only been with Moses for 2 years. Like, the relationship started off volatile as fuck. Like, there hasn't been enough, like, experiences as a part of, like, that family for her and him to, like, be like, oh, we're a family that's having problems. Like, they're not family. Like, Ethan was down for her to be his family. Like, he accepted her into the family, and she just sucks as a fucking person. She doesn't want to be a part of a family. She wants her and whoever's in her inner circle to be alienated, because her inner circle could only consist of people who enable her and think she's the shit. That's why her only real friends are Moses and her family, who are supported by her. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, what do you... Okay. So she goes on Keemstar and she makes this video because now everyone's talking shit to her, including Ethan's parents. They're, like, getting in on the drama, and she just can't handle it. So she makes a video, pretty much a 40-minute video, and the first thing she says is that Ethan has one of the most toxic fan bases that she's ever been a part, or that she's ever experienced, and she calls them a cult. And Trisha has this tendency to call, you know, anybody who wrongs her the leader of a cult. David Dobrik is the leader of a cult. He tries to control the people around him as if they are his cult, and his fans are like an extension of that. Jeffree Star, I don't know. I don't know the other people. Like, I don't really think Shane Dawson is a cult leader. I think he has no interest. The only reason she doesn't like Shane Dawson is because he called her a pathological liar, which is true. He just told the truth, and she didn't like that. So, okay. And then she said Ethan is like a cult leader. I'll admit, Ethan's fan base is kind of toxic. Like, it does get a little bit, like, too loyal. But I don't, and he calls them foot soldiers. I get it, but he's not a cult leader. He doesn't, like, like, as an audience member, you could actually observe how he treats his crew, it's like he is their boss. He was your boss, Trisha. She's not watching this, but it's like he was Trisha's boss, even though he was her brother-in-law too, but she was, like, getting paid by him, and she obviously needed that money. She obviously did, because she is acting so fucking desperate. Just like, she is super rich, but it's like, I don't know how her cash flow works. I don't know, like, what, and I don't care that much, but it's pretty obvious that it's like the stability that she was having financially with frenemies was like, she really took advantage of that and, like, took that shit for granted hardcore. Like, you can't just, like, shit on your boss publicly and, like, demand equal respect and still expect to get, or not respect, sorry, demand equal, like, control. And he gave her a lot of control. So it's just, that shit's messed up to me. And it's also family. You don't want to do that shit with your family, I don't think. Unless you guys are, like, super tight-knit and you guys really understand each other and could have these conversations, like, without any awkwardness. Because when it comes to money and control, it could get very awkward. But anyways, what was I saying? God, I went on a tangent. Oh, yeah. She was saying that Ethan's fans are cults because they're, like, coming for her. They're giving her snake emojis. They're calling her a snake, which is rich coming from her, because she apparently, like, this is what really bothers me about, like, regardless, like, I don't like her, obviously, and yes, it's, like, at this point, sort of, like, yeah, there's a lot of shitty people in the world. There are people way shittier than Trisha Paytas. There are also people who are way better than her. I mean, way better than her. And there are people who are way shittier than her, so it's kind of, like, on you as an individual to decide with the means you have to choose who you get to be around. Because it's like, you can't control other people's shittiness. Just like, I'm watching Trisha, and she always triggers me with how much of a shitty, selfish person she is. And it's like, why do I watch her then? Like, why do I care then? Because it's like, I liked her at first, and then now I don't like her. So why do I care? But I don't know, I'm just interested. So she said that his fans were cults, like, that his fan base is a cult, and that they were coming for her. Like, she doesn't really understand that her interacting with Keemstar and her being on his podcast, and not only being on his podcast, but taking a picture with him afterwards, smiling as if they just had, like, a 3-hour conversation about philosophy and, like, cookies and ice cream and just, like, everything good in the world. Like, that was a real, like, so it didn't seem like a conversation that progressed anywhere. He definitely did not change his mind. He didn't surrender and say, holy shit, I am a gross perv. I am a misogynist. Like, I am a rape apologist. I did coerce, or I did help someone, you know, I told someone to kill themselves, and they did, even though that's not why they killed himself. Etika did not kill himself because of one person's comment. Like, Keemstar is not that powerful, but I mean, still to be someone who tells a suicidal person to kill themselves, it's like, why don't that, like, Keemstar should have died. Anyways, am I gonna get flagged? I didn't say that's not a threat. I always have to say that's not a threat, and allegedly and all this bullshit. Allegedly, this is not a threat. This freedom of speech and my right to express my freedom of speech, I think Keemstar is a waste of space, and I'm starting to feel that way about Trisha too. And that's just me, like, it's just like a fart. They're just like farts that should just like come and go. Anyways, so yeah, she was saying how, like, it wasn't a personal attack on Ethan, that she's allowed to talk to whoever she wants, that she has no problem having like a discussion with someone who's against her stance with her enemies. She then went on to say how she went on, you know, Gabby Hanna's podcast. She talked to Jeff Wittick and she talked to people that she was against. That, it's like, and yeah, that's true, Trisha, sure, but like, people are mad more than anything that you actually went and gave Keemstar, an actual rape apologist, an actual creep, like, any platform to try to rationalize his stance. And obviously Trisha's not a rational person. She's not the beacon of moral truth. Like, sure, she's standing, like, her stance was the correct one, but her as a person is a fucking hypocrite. She as a person is a hypocrite, and she's a piece of shit. I know. Oh my God. Hello, the one person watching. Yeah, she is disgusting. And like, the worst part is, like, I don't want to get too out of, like, I do want to, like, but I will say that, like, I did like her, and I watched her before Frenemies, and I thought she was like someone I related to with BPD. So I just thought she was messy, and I'm like, oh, I could watch the messiness. But now I'm like, oh no, she's a shitty person. So that's why I'm still involved. It's almost like when you're with someone, when you're like in a toxic relationship with someone, and then they just like, and you fight with them, and then they call you and they're like, hey, what's up? And you're like, I don't know, I get, like, and you keep going back to that toxicity. It's like, you just got to cut it off. But it's hard to cut off someone when it's like a parasocial relationship and they're making videos and it's like entertaining, even though it's messed up. But okay, so I'm a part of it. But people are more mad that she went on to talk to like a rape apologist and like someone who said that like all you have to do is turn your head to not be mouth fucked and not to be like mouth raped. And it's like, she's talking to someone like that and she's like, she's not stupid. So yeah, and the worst part is, do you see her latest video? Because that's what I'm reacting to right now. She was saying that like, she wants to have an open discussion, and obviously the goal is to maybe like convince the other person that they're wrong. But she's not fucking stupid, and she knows that Keemstar isn't gonna like not believe what he says. He's not gonna tell her be like that she's right, or he'll tell her she's right, but like obviously he's not gonna change. And it's like, she's not fucking stupid. So so apparently Sebastian Soto said he's like a commentary channel too, and I love him. I love his channel, but he pretty much said that Ethan might have Gabby Hanna on his podcast. And I'm like, that would be I feel like if this is chess, Ethan's move to have Gabby on the podcast would be, oh, dude, Keemstar used her. It's like, I feel like the way it is, it's like he fucked her. He didn't fuck her, but like emotionally he fucked her, and then like went on to call her gross and talk about how gross she was in bed, like in public after, and then like gets like her enemy and then fucks her after. Because Keemstar had a podcast with Gabby right after. Like, so it's just really messed up. It's like this like game. And then Trisha's obviously like all detached, and she's like, I don't care that you talk to Gabby. I know they're friends, but it's like, you know, for her that stung, because Trisha's a fucking pick-me. Like, she talks so much about girls who are pick-me's, and it's like, oh, like, I'm one of the guys, or like, I just want your approval. It's like, Trisha will talk shit about anyone, and as soon as that person like is nice to her in real life, it's like she does not know how to be like, oh, this is how I actually feel about you. Like, she doesn't have boundaries. And for Ethan to have Gabby on his podcast, I think it would be really stupid. If he actually does talk to Gabby, I think he should just like talk shit about Trisha with her, and then he should go and roast Gabby, because Gabby's a disgusting person too. And I think like the funniest thing would be for him to just like, you know, passive aggressively trash her the way he did with Keemstar when he was on his podcast the first time. Because Ethan isn't stupid either. And I feel like right now, like, he has a lot of like potential to truly make them all seem like assholes. Keemstar, Trisha, like, he has the bowling ball right now, and it's really on him to be like, let me get the strike. But he can't just, it might be good that he's not allowed on his channel for a while, because he actually has time to pontificate on how he could, like, you know, I don't know. I think David Dobrik, it's like, I don't think he should mix up the messiness, to be honest. Like, that's the thing. It's like, I hate Trisha, but I do agree with some of the shit. Like, I don't like David Dobrik. I don't like Jeffree Star. I do like Shane Dawson. I do like Ryland. Like, it's weird because when it comes to relationships, sometimes it's like it's like picking a side. It's more nuanced than that. But like, now seeing Trisha's pattern of behavior, it's like she stopped being friends with Shane because he called her a pathological liar behind her back. And she is a pathological liar. So she just didn't like that he said something about her that she didn't like. She can't handle, like, she cannot handle criticism. Like, she really can't. Like, unless she is criticizing herself and it's like the ball's in her court. If someone else tells her something that she needs to change and that person actually has the right to because they're experiencing life with her, she cuts them off, just like David Dobrik does. Like, do you know how often it is that people dislike the people that they see the worst of themselves in? I don't think, I mean, look, Ethan's like a part of the game now, and he could either be petty and lean into it, or he could just like back the fuck out and be like, you know what, these people, like, Ethan is more than just a drama channel. Like, I'm not a diehard fan, but oh wait, anyways, let me get back to, like, Trisha called Ethan's fans a cult, which is what I wanted to say is ridiculous, because it's like, people don't hate her because of Ethan. Just what happened between her and Ethan exposed who she is and how she is. And not only with Ethan, but with Moses too, who is Ethan's brother-in-law, who's Hila's actual brother. Just seeing the way she's like navigating her relationship and the dynamic. It's like, sure, we don't know these people in real life, but we all know people like that. We've all experienced people that we've had to cut off because they're terrible. You know, people that we thought we cared about and then we realized they fuck us over. So seeing that, like, done by someone that we watch on YouTube, it's hard to watch. It's annoying. Exactly. That's another thing, though. It's like, Trisha really wants attention. And not only because it's like financially, that's how she makes money, is through the attention, but also, like, if she doesn't feel like she's being noticed, and if she doesn't feel like she's able to kind of control the drama in her life, I think she gets a lot of anxiety. And so whether she's doing it consciously or not, she's always doing things to try and keep her name in people's mouth. Yeah, exactly. Attention is her oxygen. She breathes, like, she might die if she doesn't have her name in someone's mouth. But the thing is, though, it's like, it could be a learning experience, and it's also like, you shouldn't, it's like, I don't think it's right to just ignore someone even though they're like crying out and yelling to be acknowledged, because that could be traumatizing too. Like, Trisha gets attention from her enablers. You know, her stans are going to be there for her. Like, Moses is pussy whipped. Her family's supported by her, so they're not going to, like, so she's still getting some kind of acknowledgement. So it's might as well just like have people say that she's wrong. Because the more people tell her she's wrong, like, maybe she'll actually see it one day. Because it's like, that's the weird fucked up thing about her. It's like, sometimes she's rational, and then so in her video, she pretty much said, I'm a hypocrite. She's like, I'm a hypocrite, but I can own up to it. That's great that you could, like, it's great if you can own up to your hypocrisy, but it's like, you have to not be a hypocrite after you, like, if you just say, yeah, I'm a shitty person, and you don't try to change, then that really doesn't, it's like, cool. It's actually worse that you acknowledge that you're a hypocrite and that you're not going to change, because then at least it's like, you're making that decision to be a shitty person. You're not just doing it because you don't know any better. Like, to not know any better, it's like, well, okay, but she knows better. And she also knows that Keemstar wasn't going to change his mind. So she honestly went to, like, enable a rape apologist and make him feel like he's winning just because she hates Ethan that much. She hates Ethan so much that she would rather team up with Keemstar and try to make nice with him to spite him than just stick to her guns and her values. That's how I know she's a shitty person, because Ethan has not done anything bad to her. She, like, the reason she fucking hates Ethan is because he told his crew that, like, I don't know why that pissed her off so much. She hates Ethan because he told the crew that she didn't like them and wanted them fired. That's obviously how he felt. So it's like maybe it was a little like she saw that as manipulative on his end and she thinks that he was trying to sabotage her. So clearly, like, I think she has some trauma that she's misplacing with Ethan, because it's like with Ethan's pattern of behavior, he's not malicious and manipulative like that. If anything, he's stupid. Like, he's kind of dumb, and he walks into the tar pit. Like, he goes in naively because he probably hasn't experienced people like Trisha. Like, he's around seemingly stable people, and he's come from a seemingly, like, you know, sure, it's dysfunctional, but like there hasn't been like bait and switches like with someone with mental illness like Trisha. So it's like he really needs to smarten up when dealing with these kind of people, because Trisha is a dangerous person. I don't think she's a master manipulator by any means. Like, I don't think she's that smart and cunning. But like with someone who doesn't know how to deal with like emotional abuse and like manipulation, even in the lowest form, she will seem like a, you know, like a person with tact. But she's not. And neither is Keemstar. And Ethan just needs to smarten up a little bit, because it's like she's real, like they are showing their cards. And it's like now she's saying that now she's bringing Ethan's mom into it, which to me is just so gross. Like, sure, Ethan's mom is getting involved herself and throwing shade, but this woman is a grandma, and she's protecting her own son, and she's protecting like her grandkid and then like her other grandkid. And Trisha kept saying that his mom told Moses something that was so vile, so messed up, that she can't even speak it into existence. Like, do you know, like, I know what she said. I don't know what she said but I could already imagine, just based off what, you know, she probably said something about Hila's pregnancy right now and how Trisha is putting a lot of stress on them and that she's being dangerous because pregnancy. Like, just knowing Donna from what I've seen, like, she's very like holistic. She's very like altruistic. She's obsessed with like saving the butterflies. Like, she takes a lot of notes. She's kind of like a teacher's pet type bitch. I think she's just grossed out by Trisha, like anyone would be. And Trisha hasn't really been confronted by a woman who isn't going off at her like Gabby has. Like, she's literally being like owned by like a hot old lady, and she can't handle it. So she's now saying that Donna's trashy, that she has to fight Ethan's battles for him. I just think it's really toxic. Like, that, honestly, I think to wrap this video up, I don't even know if I even explained all of it. Pretty much it was just her ranting about how she's allowed to do whatever she wants, that she's allowed to talk to whoever she wants, and she's always down to have a discussion with someone who's on a different stance than her. Fine. But like, you know, talking to someone who says something kind of weird, or, you know, someone who otherwise would be a decent person is one thing, but then talking to someone whose whole career is based off of being shitty, you know, rape apologist, misogynist, creep, that's a different thing. And it's just really fucked up that she's pretty much infiltrated Ethan's family. And really, the only thing I could say is, like, the best course of action, in my opinion, for Ethan, would just stop acknowledging her and to disown Moses and to disown, like, for Hila, because it's not, like, Ethan is Hila's husband. Ethan is the father of her child. So it's no longer, like, it is blood now. Like, Trisha's only with Moses by marriage. They've only been together for like 2 years. I don't know. I don't care if the relationship is going to last. Like, that doesn't matter to me. Other people's personal relationships, like romantic, is not something I like to comment on because it's trashy, and that's just a whole different ballpark. But Ethan is a part of Moses' family. Ethan is the father of his nephew. Like, there is blood there. They've also known each other for like over a decade. Like, Trisha is some new bitch, and all she's ever done was cause chaos. You know, Ethan could have easily fucking told her to go fuck herself. Like, he could have just, like, the first time she lashed out, just disowned her, they, whatever her name. And he didn't. And the more she got close, the worse she behaved. And Moses, honestly, like, I don't even want to fucking talk about Moses, because he, to me, is just like, who are you? People only know he exists because of Trisha. And back when we liked Trisha, we were like, oh yeah, we're all for your relationship. It's so nice to see you in, like, a relationship with someone who seems to, like, care about you and shit. And now it's like, oh, like, he cares about you way too much. Like, he lets you honestly be a terrible person to his own family. So he could go fuck himself. So yeah, I don't know. I'm sweating, so I'm gonna go. But what do you guys think? If you guys watch this video, let me know what you guys think of this whole situation. Like, obviously it's gross, but, like, is there anything I missed? Like, let me know. The tea is hot, bitch.